Peace YouTube, this is Fleur Brune coming to you today with a new topic of discussion for my new timeline. Yes, check on in, family. I'm in a new timeline and it is really, really interesting. Even the light, I'm sorry. This light is like, it's like a glaring light in here, which is beautiful. Peace, Kay. Peace, Mama. Check on in. My new timeline is looking really, really swazy. Hey, Sensei. Hey, loves. Check on in. I just wanted to check in and talk about preparation for the uh, new, new events in March of 2019. So much is happening, getting a lot of intel. I wouldn't say downloads. I don't really get downloads or uploads. I get intel just through people, places, and things. Much more tangible. Sometimes I'll get inklings of things and then I solidify it because that's just the Sagittarius I am. The proof is always in the pudding. So anyway, I wanted to talk about the event that we're preparing for. Some people are not even aware that there is an event or that they've experienced some of the event before, but I wanted to touch on it and kind of expound upon it. And I felt as I'm in this new timeline, I've been in several, and like I said, I've discussed it on Patreon. So big up to the Patreon crew who actually got a chance to hear some of the different different visuals and things happening in the new timeline. I appreciate it. Yeah, I wasn't feeling all that great. My body is going through changes, and Fleur Brune is really tired. Oh, the unknown says the event is a plasmic catastrophe, and the Bible itself describes plasma. Well, this event, which I've talked about before, and I gave you some warning about it previously, that it's going to be different than the previous one, which is a rainbow event. And actually, I shared some pictures. Hey, Orlando, Barbie's in Orlando. I shared some pictures. I think, I don't know if it was on Patreon or Cypher. I don't know where. Sometimes I share things and I don't know where I share them. Maybe the other timeline I shared it. I don't know. But when I went back to the South Bronx, I noticed that there was remnants of the rainbow still there. Remember, I had the rainbow event happen in 2018 in March. Going to the South Bronx, it was just over the weekend. And actually, Sensei was the first person I contacted in Sweden because I was just like, oh my gosh, it happened. And Allison Coe, if you don't know, was the one who actually preempted it, talking about she did a QHHT session with someone who detailed, a lot of people were detailing this, and I didn't really believe in it, and it happened to me, so now you know. I talk about it, but we had remnants of it still in the Bronx, all in the sky, and actually the second sun could be seen in the Bronx and in Manhattan. And also, remember New York, when I was down there, even though I didn't witness it, had that blue project, Blue Beam. I personally think it was governmental in the sky. So that happened then, and that's just them preparing for trying to cloak the event. Also, the movie Blue Bird Box, I think, was also a smokescreen, something to make people afraid to go outside during the event. I purposefully think bird bath. I said bird bath. I said bird bath. Bird cage. What's it called? I think it's called bird cage. What is it called? Or my phone rang. Forgot the name. Bird box. Thank you, family. There is literally baby on the brain. Birch box. Bird box. Yeah, bird box. I personally think they put that movie out personally to put fear into everyone so that when the actual event happens, that people will run inside and they won't witness the magnanimous or get the energetic downloads or uploads. So I personally think that was purposefully done. They're doing a lot of fear tactics, putting a lot of fear utilizing a lot of fear tactics to really exasperate the level of paranoia and people who are not in awareness. So, that being said, I personally think we're going to have the event show up differently than previously. And I've always detailed that when I saw the event happening in this timeline right now, hopefully this timeline, it's going to happen in all timelines. It's going to happen with flashes of light. It's not going to be the same as the rainbow. It's something different. And I personally know that we've been experiencing the event every 365 days. We go in a circular motion, 360 degrees, and every time we reach the same elliptical placement, we have the parts of the event. Sometimes it was very minuscule at first, but then we started to feel, some of us felt it more, like I got the full-on event, and some of us felt it very lightly. So this March, I am not predicting, I'm saying that we're going to have it occur again. And I had to put pieces of the puzzle together. So it's going to be interesting how that shows up. And like I said, in this timeline, it's already shifted where you can feel the energies. Like I'm feeling it, like big up to Luna Ash. I wanted to give, of course, my condolences to Luna. Luna just lost her mommy. Rest in power, Mama of Luna. You know, along with the transition of our family members, they gift us when they go to the other side, especially if it's our mothers and fathers. So I'm sending lots of love and nourishment and love to Luna. She's such a lovely soul, and she's our energetic broadcaster, so I always have to give her a big ups, especially when she was correct about the I just got a chance to see her video. If you don't have a chance to check out Luna, check out her page. It's really detailed as far as energies, and she detailed we had the solar flares coming in, causing a lot of physical symptoms. And you know, I had a headache for like 2 days. We did the jump on Sunday, actually Monday at 12:12 a.m. And after that, I had a host, I think, that day was the first time I had an actual headache. I haven't had a headache really for the whole time of my pregnancy. So, I mean, maybe initially, but not really any. Yeah, but it was causing problems. And sleep is, yes, sleep, becoming very like energetic at night, almost feeling like I'm becoming more nocturnal. Okay. And, you know, even with me and my and my ex in this timeline, my ex-Nazi in this time, about that, got a phone call. Yeah, even my ex-Nazi, because I was up all last night, was texting me from like a casino drunk, telling me his affection and his love for me. Telling me he wants to buy me a home somewhere else so we could live somewhere beautifully. And I asked him what is he going to do with the draconian that he's with, the one that had the holes all over her face. He said he doesn't care. He's like, it doesn't matter. This is the timeline I'm on. I don't know what that's about, but I'm not accepting it. Decline. I rebuke you. Whenever you have a Nazi in your life, do not recycle them. You can't recycle a Nazi. Once a Nazi, always a Nazi. And I shouldn't even entertain some of these texts, but they're amazing. Decline the calls. Big up to my Nazi. I don't want you. You should stay with your draconian creature. She's more suitable for you. Rock that timeline out with her. Anyway, so yes. So sleep is becoming an issue in the evening, and it's because of these huge plasma waves coming, plasma being shot out from the sun, and we're feeling it. So just be mindful if you've been feeling any way. Someone said sorry. If you've been feeling any way, like really antsy or anxiety ridden, or you've had headaches over the last 2 to 3 days, just know that there is actually a reason for it that has to do with a galactic reason. It has to do with the sun. Anytime we get solar flares too, we should really take that in consideration. That really, it takes, you know, once there's an emission. Look at my squirrel. He always stares at me. Look at him. He's trying to hear me. My squirrels love me. He's just watching me right now. You want to see him? He's so cute. I think this one is Fred. Hold on, let me show my squirrel. Fred, come here, Fred. He's just watching. Oh, now he turned. He watches me every day. I think he thinks I'm going to do something different. Sometimes I'm sitting there I'm sorry, I disrupted the telecast. I'm sorry. I love my furry friends. They're beautiful. He sits there and watches me from the tree. Sometimes when I come outside, he's not used to me sitting in the truck. Like he'll watch me sometimes. So anyway, okay, so we have this energetic wave, these energetic waves, these plasma energy waves coming in from the sun, being emitted over the last 2 to 3 days, and what happens is that as soon as it gets there's solar flares or shots of plasma out, it takes about 2 to 3 days that it comes in. So that's when we get the feeling, like the energies come in and then our body feels it out. So energetically we feel it. We kind of, some of us transmute it. Sometimes we utilize the energy to be able to get information. The sun transfers information, galactic information. So usually when you get these emissions, you get some uploads or downloads, however you see the information. So it's very necessary to be highly yeah, they can hear you telepathically. Fred is looking at me right now. He's back to his same position. He's just listening to me. I think he thinks I'm a big squirrel. My brother used to say I look like a chipmunk or a squirrel. I think he thinks I'm a big squirrel. Your ears. Hey, Martha. How you feeling, Mama? Your ears are feeling muffled. Yeah, it's this energy coming in. So be mindful, keep hydrated. Now, the interesting thing, and I don't know if this is happening with anyone else, couple of the sea stars, quite a few of the sea stars, if not more than denoted, had experienced their menses coming early. So for those who are in menses, you know, they still get their menses. You know, I think that was also what came with the lunar eclipse, also with a strong blood wolf moon. A lot of the sea stars had gotten a menses, like their menses was not due for 7 days and 10 days, and everybody's came early. I found that interesting. It wasn't just, we talked about it on Instagram and on Cypher. I think I discussed it somewhere else as well, but come to find out, it was more of a phenomenon than I even expected. So for those who experienced it, I think that also came along with the energies coming in from the blood moon, from the blood wolf moon. Okay, so I think that actually, you know, because the moon also controls the ebb and flow of the female, you know, the waterways on our planet, and you know how I feel about the moon. It was you know, my it's not a theory, it's what I know to be. It's what I know to be. You may think something different. But I personally know the moon is a satellite, an artificial satellite towed here to control us. And a group of maleficent reptilians had control of it for a long period of time. And that's been taken over by some more benevolent beings. But there's been a switch on and off. And also that is why China is allowed to have their rogue, I think it's considered the rover, on the dark side of the moon. Remember, the Chinese were also the ones who said they were going to build because the moon, remember when the moon got hit and nobody really talked about it, and then all of a sudden the Chinese said, oh, we want to create an artificial moon, and they were going to put a moon in their side, and all of a sudden they're having a rover on the dark side of the moon. Come on, family. So it's all relative. So everything's interconnected. So obviously that caused some issues with us our biosphere, our bodies. Yeah, that's not the real. That was not a moon. This planet, like I said, that particular planetoid, hollowed out planetoid, was brought here as a control system for the females on the planet, the original females that exist on the planet. We're not the originals, but the females that lived here. Okay, the moon can be used. Well, the moon has been used for negative mostly, but it does not necessarily have to. A lot of people use moon energy for positive things. Like I said, even with our time jump, we utilize the moon to propel us into other timelines this time. We used the 1212 portal to jump into other timelines. So we utilize it for positive reasons. I think, you know, all energy can be utilized both ways. The pendulum swings in both directions. So you can use it for positive and you can use it for negative. It just depends on the actual driver, okay? Whoever's doing it. So let's go and talk about the event coming up, what to do and how to prepare. Now, what's interesting also, and I don't know if anyone else is experiencing this, I'm experiencing an issue with water. I have an issue. It could be that I'm pregnant. Let me state that first, because some of the things that are going on with me physiologically are connected to me creating life. Okay. So I was wondering if anyone is having an issue with water, drinking certain water. Hey, Fred. He's just staring at me. I'm taking issue. And remember, when you're pregnant, you're more sensitive to certain because remember, your body is more sensitive and it knows when there's chemicalizing in water. Now, mind you, I have a triple tier filter that I have for years. I also buy Levi water. Like, I'll get Levi water if I want to get a water and put it in the glass containers. Remember, I have an aversion to metal now, so I like to cook in only glass containers mostly. But I'm noticing that all water bothers me. All water. For some reason, I don't know why. And it's, obviously you require a lot of water. So I will force myself to drink water, but I will try different waters. Does anyone have an issue with tasting? Yes, everyone's having different. The water tastes funny. I don't know. I don't know what it is though. You keep tasting a metal taste. I don't know what it is. I don't like the taste of. I drink water. I appreciate and love water. I am so grateful for healthy, pH, healthy, balanced water, alkaline water. But for some reason, all the water tastes funny to me. And I said to the doctor, I said, I don't know what it is. I said, I've never had this before with my other little ones, my other pregnancies. I have an issue with the taste of all the waters. It's all over. Yeah, does it? Everybody's saying it. It's weird. When you were pregnant with my daughter, it's weird. Something's up with the water. And I'm telling you, it's not just me. Thank you, everyone. Maybe distilled. I'm going to try to do, I taste so weird. Thank you for mentioning this, because it feels thicker, right? It does not taste right. I don't know if they're messing with all the water. I mean, again, I filter out my water, and I don't know if this is before I jump timelines. Oh, thank you, Iris. Thank you very much. I have to drive while I'm talking to you. I hope you don't mind. Yeah, something is going on with the water, and I hope you don't mind me driving with you. I do this all the time. I promise I'd be safe. Hold on. I'll talk to you while I drive. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I see that a lot. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I see that a lot of you are experiencing the same thing with water. I can't vet it out. I don't know what it is. I test water all the time. I always try to make sure that if I'm feeling a certain way that I test the water way. Okay, listen, family, I'm driving at the same time, so amongst each other, if it's only going to take me like 5 minutes to go, well, 10 minutes, let me be realistic, 10 minutes. I don't have to shut off the live for this. I do live sometimes at really interesting times. I think you can stay with me for most of my driving. I remember sometimes. Look, the speed limit change. Listen, this timeline, I swear to you, this timeline is. Listen, this timeline, I swear to you, this timeline is Freaky Friday. I don't know if any of you ever saw the show Freaky Friday. I'm experiencing Freaky Friday, and I've got changes of everything. Like I said. Anyway, hold on. Talk amongst each other. I'm sorry. So the water tastes funny. I think that could be the energy, and also in discussion about the sun. I've been seeing. I've always seen the two suns. Remember, many of you knew me from many years ago. Some of you know me from my real life, where you remember me obsessing with pictures. This is over like no, I'm not gonna say 20 years ago. Maybe about how old is this? Maybe 11 years ago. 11 years ago, some of you remember me being obsessed when I used to go in the garden, because remember, I lived on a farm, and I'd always be taking pictures of the second sun that was really tiny at the time. But right now, the second sun is wider, and it's spread out from the first sun. So now people are capturing it. Like, I was in the Bronx, I couldn't believe how obvious it was. You can see now I understand what they better keep spraying this. They better keep spraying the skies. If they don't spray, they're going to have a problem, because people are going to see it outright. They have to keep chemtrailing and contrailing, because if they don't, they're going to have an issue with people questioning what's in the sky. Are you behaving yourself, Leighton? No? Bijou says hi. Oh, that's a little boy that has the biggest crush on my little one. Anyway. Hold on. Sorry, family. Let me get to my destination in one piece. Talk amongst each other. I know I'm live. This is so unprofessional, but I've never really been one for professional. Everything I do is quite unique, I'm sure. Okay. Oh, I'm right on time. Okay. Okay. Hey, sweetie.
Hi, Jenny.
Okay, hold on, everyone. Oh. Sorry. Hey, babe.
I'm very hungry.
Okay. I'm live right now. Okay, close the door, boo.
You're live?
Yeah. So I wouldn't say anything that would totally put you on the hot spot. This guy is right behind me. Okay. Hold on. How is everything today? Is okay? The weather's beautiful, right? Hmm? How are you? Okay. Where's your friends? You're welcome. Okay. Okay. Hold on, everybody. I'll be there in a minute. Thank you for your patience. It is so beautiful out here. I sometimes and I'm moving. Go figure that. If you have to go to the orthodontist for 30, I believe. Okay, whatever you like. So anyway, continuing the conversation. So now we can fully see the second sun. If you are, I'm not quite sure what locations you wouldn't see it, but I do know we're seeing it in the Northeast. So I would try to go outside. I don't know where they don't chemtrail. It would be hard unless you're somewhere in the Caribbean or maybe Hawaii. I'm not even sure if they don't chemtrail in Hawaii. Even when I was there, they were chemtrailing when I was in Maui. So, I mean, I'm assuming they chemtrail mostly everywhere on the planet. But if you get a chance, go outside and see the second sun. And how you see it, it's not a sundog, because back in the days they used to say, oh, it's your sundog when you take a picture of it. No, you can see it with your full on with your eyes. Your eyes won't lie to you. Okay, so you'll see the sun in one position in one part of the sky, and then you'll see it all the way a little further out on the other side. It's not that far apart, but it's enough where you know that the illumination is not the sun in both positions, not just one sun. You'll know it's two separate suns. And also that's the second time we saw the crane. Remember that? The day we saw? He came out again. That must be a sign or something. Yeah, he's beautiful. He's so tall. Yeah. You think it's a sheep? Okay, how do we tell the difference? You think so? Well, the males usually have more feathers or more flamboyant of a look. Yeah. Okay. Do what you have to do, and then I'll tell you when we're ready to go, okay? Okay. And I'm all winded out, right?
Someone's open.
You going outside, baby?
I
Can't go outside. Hold on. I have to plant some flowers on the other side. I think the flowers I planted last time didn't take. Okay. Sorry about that.
Bye,
Oof. Okay. See you in a bit. Sorry about that. This is mommy duty. What you do? You know, sometimes there's a maker. There's a woman who makes these. I have to remember to post it. She makes these for me, which I love. Thank you. Yeah, I feel I'm a mama bear, and those are my cubs. Like I said, I'm always in striking distance of my cubs. What was I gonna say? So yeah, the second son is there, but there is, yes. Well, remember, if you notice what they did is during the blood wolf moon, during the lunar eclipse, if you didn't notice, they geoengineered the weather to be colder everywhere. So if you hadn't noticed, remember when about a day or 48 hours before the blood wolf moon came, the temperature dipped everywhere. Even in Florida, it was like 40 degrees. A homegirl in Jersey Shore was telling me it was 7 degrees. They dipped it. They always do that during ritual time. That's part of the rituals. And also I think it's not so much the rituals, how they geoengineer it. I think portals make it cooler. This is my personal take. Someone, if you know something different, let me know. But my take from what I know is that whenever they open some of these portals or a portal's about to open, it dips the temperature. Almost like being you know, when you go into a hospital and you're about to do surgery, it's always cooler in the room, kind of like that. That's personally what I think. You know, again, that's just my take on what my perspective on how I see things. But yeah, it dipped and it was freezing. So right about that ritual time. So the second sun can be seen. Also the third sun, which is present, which cannot be seen from usually from the poles you can see it. I know Siberia, full on, you can see it from Siberia. People have taken pictures of the third sun. You can Google that. I mean, I couldn't even make this up. That's how amazing this is. We live in a binary system, but we have 3 suns, and who's to say that these suns aren't I don't want to necessarily say that all of them are suns, because we can take in consideration that some of these could be how we're going around the elliptical, coming closer to what you consider to be certain portals that may look like a luminous suns or stars. You know, I'm not that astute. This is when I would love to talk to astronomers who are much more astute in knowing the different planets, how they show up. You know, like Venus is the brightest star in the sky. You know, when we talk about Vega's in the sky. You know, you have all these different planets that we really have to be much more in tuned and really have acknowledgement of them, because they do play a part in how we show up and what happens with us biologically. Okay. And even, it's been cold in Cali. Yeah, we have to get up on our stars. We do, because the planets are shifting, and we have to, not just astronomy, you know, astrology. A lot of people are obsessed with astrology, but astrology, you can't really be that phenomenal in astrology if you're really not have some good healthy base in astronomy. You know what I mean? I took astronomy in college. I don't know if I took it like one semester, and I loved it. And I took geology. I took geology and astronomy as some of my electives, because I was interested in that. And I can't say that I learned tons, but I learned things that I normally wouldn't have had a chance to know just off the bat, not just Googling, you know what I mean? So, yes, in Arizona, every time there's a full moon eclipse, there are chemtrails all day leading up to the nightfall. Yes, Andrea just said that. It's amazing how they get away with it, though, because they're chemtrailing every time we're about to have something luminous happen in the sky. When is the last time that you had a full-on beautiful blue sky without any clouds in it? Can any of you remember? Now, I'm a woman of a certain age. I remember playing outside with my friends, riding our bikes, and having clear blue skies with maybe 1 or 2 puffy clouds in the sky. I can remember that. I can remember sitting outside picnics with my dad and looking up at the sky, or going to the pool and going up and looking at the sky was clear blue. You have not seen, you can recently? Andrea, you saw a clear blue sky? 90s. It's been a long time. Okay. Anyone see? I haven't seen a clear blue sky, and I've gone. You know, I travel. I haven't seen it. It's odd because it's yes in Massachusetts. Oh, Andrea said yes in Massachusetts. That's beautiful. Maybe because it's a little cooler. Could be. elementary school in the 90s. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet. And even though I'm relocating, some of you will find out where I'm relocating. Yes, I'm moving. Fleurbrun is moving. I've decided to finally relocate. It's this time, and I'm being called to, at least in this timeline. I'll be moving, and you'll find out my relocation once I get there. So it'll be interesting. And of course, I'm going to take deep breaths because, you know, moving can be one of those things where you just have to take a deep breath and hope for the best. It's time to relocate. I've been having the draw and the pull, and the frequencies are really propelling me to finally move. It's interesting. Like, remember we had this discussion on my blog talk show, Aquarius Rising Ninth Gate. A lot of people call in, they're like, how do I know I need to leave? You'll just be propelled to. Like, there was just a time, all of a sudden I was like, okay, I think I want to move now. I just woke up one day. I remember I was with Kirk. At the time I was with Kirk, we were in bed and we were sitting there and I was like, you know what, Kirk? I think it's time to move. And of course, he's always permissible. Kirk, one thing I could say about Kirk, he was always just open-minded to whatever, sometimes whimsical things going on with me, sometimes more tangible things. But yeah, I said, you know, I think it's time to move. So it's time to sell the house and move to a new location. So it looks like my migration is happening. Migration gene activating. Yes, contact us. Yes, absolutely. So I'm feeling the need. And like I said, it could be my change in my dynamics of what's going on with me too. So it'll be beautiful. I'm looking forward to transitioning to a new locale and the different energies and frequencies. And can you be with me? Some of you might be with me. I won't say where, but you never know. Some of you might be with me. Because remember, I'm still in sanctuary mode. Yeah, so preparing for the what time is it? Hold on. Does anyone have the time? Can anyone tell me the time? Because I don't know the time. You must know with Fleurbrun. Okay, you must know with Fleurbrun, time isn't a factor. So I rarely know the time ever. Only time I know times is if it's like tangible to others. Thank you, 331. Thank you, El Summers. Thank you, everyone. 331 231 Central, East Coast Central. Thank you. 331. Wow, interesting. A 3 and an inverted 3. There goes that 3 again. Whenever I jump timelines, the 1111 and the 31 and the 13 shows up. Now, you know, I just find it interesting that maybe jumping timelines keeps a code, like a binary code, that like I carry a code with me. It's almost like I'm traveling, right? And I'm jumping timelines and I'm not supposed to be there, and I carry a code with me. I always think that because every time I jump the timeline, this is the second time, and this is last time it was 1111 or 313 or 13 or 31, and it's the same thing now. I've been seeing that all day, every day now since I've traveled. These last, was it the third day we jumped timelines? So it's been the same thing. So anyway, anytime I'm talking about the event, you notice that I sidebar. The event is coming. There isn't much you can prepare, but what you can do is understand that everything that they're going to pull out right now is going to base us in fear. They've got rape videos out with somebody being raped in Atlanta. These are all codes. Listen, first you're talking about R. Kelly, Chicago, right? And Aaliyah. Those are codes. That's coming out all over the place. Then you've got the code of rape and ATL. You've got to look at these codes. I personally think anytime these things go out and put out and out in the stratosphere on television, they're purposefully putting out codes to others. I think they're putting out codes to the Satanists, telling them certain things. I don't think that's necessarily for us. I think it's coding for them. And also it's Chris Brown too. Chris Brown in France. So what's up with all these brown celebrities being put up on Front Street? You ever notice that? Like, what's up with that? I haven't figured that out yet. Kim from Amelia 30 was the same age bracket. Listen, something's going on. Don't know what they're talking to each other about. Can't really tell you what's going on, but they're planning. Wait, police shooting to a minor in Tempe, Arizona. What? See, this is what I'm saying. Yeah, there's a lot of codes going on here. So just be mindful, observe it, try to keep it from pulling you in. You're just going to have to do that. And I just walked into a different timeline when Wendy Williams is not returning her to her show. And a previous show she was on, now Wendy Williams is off and the purple chair is empty. That's another thing. I talked about it on Patreon. You know, a lot of things are being coded and brought into our line and spectrum of observation. Be careful, because some of this is being pulled in to make you see things a certain way and make you fearful. Don't watch that rape video. If I can ever recommend anything, if you see anything with somebody being raped on Facebook, it's already out. I already saw it. I would have told you not to watch it because it was pulled in too, but I saw it. I was like, who's putting out rape videos? Like, when is that okay to put a young lady? I don't care that it happened. I want to send empathy and sympathy to that young lady, but by all means, why are they putting that out? It's they are pulling out everything for you to put fear in your mind, telling you to be fearful. So, and I think it's interesting, we're on the precipice of another March, because March is the New Year's. Remember, we're not in the Gregorian. There wasn't a New Year's in January. January is still in fall. I mean, in winter, solstice. Why would we have a New Year's in fall? And I keep saying fall. Ooh, interesting. That might be a Freudian slip. Why would we have a New Year's in winter? We have our New Year's in spring when everything begins. It's in March, okay? That's when the New Year's is. So, you know, be careful following their lead, because they will lead you to a dead end, or it'll be a setup and you'll be ambushed. So March is when everything happens. That's why we get this whole event happening. And like I said, I've told you before, I figured out that the event was always happening in small increments. Some of us felt it, some of us didn't. And as soon as I remember my girlfriend, who's a Matrix, big up to Karen. Many of you know my Karen, my Taurus, my girlfriend, who's born in the same day as Kirk. She told me, she said, how come? She said, did you notice? Because when I had the big event, she was like, she noticed them. She said, Del, did you notice that you had gotten really weird symptoms last year, the same time, same week? And I said, what are you talking about? She's like, this is the second year in a row that you have these symptoms. I was like, what? I didn't know. She's an earth sign, so she's more grounded in the truth. You know what I mean? I'm, you know, sometimes a fire sign, I'm just shooting off. You know, I'm a what is it? You know, I'm a horse, half human. I always got my weapons. I'm always in action. So sometimes I don't really see, I can't see from all angles in a more concrete way, like an earth sign. That's why I appreciated Tauruses in my life. And I had two of them, one who's a female and one who's a male. But she noted that I had same physical symptoms, more, and it got heavier with every year, the same week. So now we know that the March event that happened to me in the Bronx, New York, which I still have remnants of, for people who say it couldn't happen in an urban community, it did. And there's still rainbows in the sky just randomly in the Bronx. I never saw rainbows in the sky like that in the Bronx before. Big up to the BX. I remember someone got mad. Some of these people got mad. They were like, how is this copper woman who's brown talking about she had the event happen in the Bronx? You know, like if I wasn't illuminated enough to have it because I'm copper and I'm in the Bronx. If something is supposed to happen celestial wise, it doesn't matter where you are. And to say that others are less notably spiritual because they're living in urban situations is why some people who are very wealthy will never go to heaven or nirvana or ascend, because they always think that they're better because they have more fiat or more accessibility. Remember, the more that you have, the less spiritual you usually are. So for those who think that they're beyond, they're more because they're more astute because they can afford 50 million yoga classes, or they can afford Pilates 24/7, or that they live in like a beautiful plush, you know, secluded ranch out in the middle of Arizona, that they are more special, that they're the only ones who are going to get the event. They're very mistaken. And they learn really quick from a woman from Mount Vernon, New York, who's sitting in the Bronx, who experienced the event full on. So, you know, sometimes when you judge people from a position of thinking that you're more spiritually astute because you have more accessibility, because you have fiat, which is a spell, and also details, the more that people have egregiously is the less spiritually they usually are. Okay? Got to be careful with judging people in that way. Okay? They learn real quick to humble yourself Everybody can experience it. Someone in the Congo, in the middle of the jungle, can have a beautiful, enlightened experience, and someone in the middle of Newark, New Jersey, can have a beautiful experience. Someone in a beautiful farm on Colorado, in the middle of Colorado Springs, can have an experience. Someone in the middle of Ireland, on top of a mountain, can have an experience. Everyone has the same probability or chance to have that if they're in the frequency of it. So be mindful to stay away from judgment of that. I got so sick. She said she got sick in March. Equinox, plus she was pregnant. Paradigm. See? Yeah. So, yeah, be woke, be woke. I'm a Baltimore and I witnessed the event. See, Baltimore. Big up to Emma Ra. See, she experienced it in Baltimore. So it does, like I said, I don't want to keep going on to that because sometimes I just throw that out there because some of those people watch my videos even though they were so critical of certain things because they know it doesn't matter. We come in the avatar, we come in for the lessons. Some of us come in avatars with more copper, some come with less. But at the end of the day, your frequency denotes your consciousness. That's all. You could be brown, lunar, green, brown in between. Just your consciousness denotes your frequency denotes your consciousness. That's it. I've met some amazingly conscious people living in the most interesting and limited situations, and you'd be like, "Wow, oh my gosh, they are so woke," and I'm like, they have very little. But they have so much, you know what I mean? So I learned that very, very easily, very quickly. This event is going to turn your world upside down. Or, well, I don't know that that's negative because sometimes the inversion is really the reality that we're supposed to be coexisting in a healthy way. So I just say this. For this event coming in March, I already gave you some clues. I can't really say much. When it happens, I usually freak out and go ballistic online, and then they X-made my videos and delete all my videos. But, you know, it is what it is. Y'all are used to it. I'll usually code things. I'll try to be less overt when it comes out. But in March, it's going to happen. And generally, just be mindful to stay grounded. That was the biggest thing. And stay out of fear. Take that aspect of Bird Box out your mind. Whatever you observe, I observed the whole rainbow event and it permeated my body. It felt like I said, as soon as it entered, it went through the walls, and as soon as it went into my body, it felt like anesthesia. That's how it felt. Like if you ever had surgery and you had anesthesia before, that's exactly how it felt. As soon as it exited me, I don't really remember it really going out of me. I just remember feeling when it went in. I remember looking outside and seeing all these people turning into black dust, like dust going in the sky all over the city. I remember that. So that I know is going to be times 10 because every year it gets stronger, meaning that it's going to be even stronger than last year. It's going to keep getting strong to the point when until we become almost light bodies, until everything's purged out of us. So I just suggest you get rid of everything now. Like if you have issues with someone and you need resolvement, you need to purge it now, because once that March event comes, it's almost like it's cracking your shell, and it can be so uncomfortable, but it can be so magnanimous at the same time. Get rid, and most of you already did your purging, but there's shadows. Like I still had shadows show up in the last timeline, and I had to realize like an aspect of certain aspects of myself that I knew. See, I knew they were there. It's kind of like denial to it, you know, choosing denial about certain things. You know what I mean? I had a shadow show up in the last timeline jump, and I was like, what? I was like, what? I have more shadows? God, Skippy, like why? Yeah. And then, you know, once I saw the shadow, I really didn't want to, even in the last timeline, I didn't want to deal with it. But in this timeline jump, I will say this timeline jump, the shadow showed up in truth. Listen to me. I don't want to get too deep because, you know, I have a lot of eyes on here with people from my personal life, so I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. But the shadow showed up as truth in this timeline. Wait, Flurun, People who receive food stamps got an extra month for February, not March. What? Oh, plum sauce. Oh, snap. So people who were receiving food stamps got an extra month for February, but not March. Listen to that, family. Oh, thank you for that. Oh, you did. Listen, they're already telling you when it's going to happen. They're preparing for it. What do you think President Trump is doing? Your president is doing? I told you it's not about the wall. I told you that it's a metaphysical, it's symbolism. I told you it's symbolism. It does not mean the wall in what you think. It means something else. The aliens he's trying to keep out are not the aliens in Mexico. Oh no, it is something else. It is something else he's talking about energetically. Well, listen, I suggest you purge now. Someone said, how do you purge? You have to release your shadows. Listen, I had insecurities. I told you already. I was with the Nazi for, oh God, 18 years. He's still attached to me. And hold on. Yeah, he's still attached to me. And I tell you, with my Nazi, even now, like even now, he keeps showing up in every timeline. He shows up. He loves me more. He loves me. I'm the love of his life. I realize that now, and he's just unhealthy, and he can't resolve that. So his attachment to me, he's trying to resolve his shadow. I realize that I am his key to him. I'm the key for him. I had to realize that. So in him, in his shadow, he wants to resolve with me. And because I'm a Sagittarius, when I don't want to deal with someone, anybody has a Sagittarius in their life, we just book. We're not really hell bent on staying in relationships that go past. We're very, call it, I don't know if it's cold or we're just moved to move on very quickly. It's just what we do. I've known many Sagittarius, and we all have one of that marker. And I realize that my Nazi keep coming up, especially in this timeline, trying to resolve with me and trying to be with me is all a sign that I'm his key. Maybe I need to give him his key back. Let me stop. Look, the recycling man's truck is driving backwards. He's getting my recycling. Sorry. Yeah, shadows. Okay, so anyway, shadows. Do your shadows. Deal with your shadows. So any shadows, you know what your shadows. Listen, I thought I was being clever by saying I didn't know what my shadows were. I knew what my shadows were. You know what your shadows are. These are the things you don't want to even talk about. These are the things you don't want to resolve. These are the things you put in the back of your mind because they're so harmful or hurtful to your heart or your spirit, and you feel like you just want to cry when you feel them. Or sometimes you're just people, things and situations you think about that you just want to put out of your mind. Those are shadows. They're all, you could take them out the closet. Let all the bones pop out of the closet and deal with them. You have to. Because there isn't any room in the top tiers of your evolutionary spiritual body that will allow those low field baggage, bags to go with you. You have to release them. We're all perfect. We're born perfect. We're tainted as soon as the world touches us in this realm. So you have to resolve it. And if it means maybe having a conversation with that person who hurt you or raped you and saying, you know what, I'm mad. I'm still mad at you for raping. I'm talking like to women who've been raped and molested, saying, listen, I'm mad at you. Write that letter to them. Even if you don't send it to them energetically. Write the letter and purge it out. Like, just release that shadow, because some of us are just so harmed with our hearts, so traumatized. I still am for my Nazi. I have a hard time really having a fully vested relationship because I was so traumatized by someone I loved for so long. So I'm really not really vested in anyone like that. Like, if anyone acts out of sorts, I'm really quick to move on, and that's a shadow. You just have to release that. And I have to realize that, there isn't anything wrong with being sad about something, or there isn't anything wrong about still feeling hurt by something. What's the issue is you letting it affect you and being unable to move past that pain. That's what it is. The pain is fear, pain. It's all one and the same. We have to move past it. The shadows shadows sometimes are aspects of our weird. Sometimes we have weird shadows. You know, sometimes shadows are like weird type of sexual depravity. I'm being honest. It could be shadows, could be anything. They're not only pains like that. They could be just weird, unhealthy fetishes formulated from some odd, or having sex or being exposed to sexual things too early, or not getting enough love in the household, so you start experimenting and doing things that bring in these shadow aspects of your personality. They could be anything. You just you have to purge them. I'm telling you this so that you can have a magnanimous experience with the event. I'm telling you this. Cry it out. Write that letter to that person that you feel, because there isn't any victims here. Everything that we go through, we chose these experiences in order to in order to learn and to evolve. And we see different perspectives from different arenas, and sometimes karma comes up like that too. You just have to purge it. Okay. Do you have to tell your shadow to everyone? No, keep your anonymity. I'm on YouTube. Sometimes you know my shadows because I'm just on here publicly. You don't have to, no, you don't have to do that. Your shadow, you know what it is. Your shadow work is usually done privately. And there's aspects of my Flipperin that y'all don't know. Kirk knows. Yeah, there's some shadows that you guys don't know. And it should be it's a personal it's a personal I don't know the word. It's for you personally to deal with. That's all it is. You personally deal with it. Purge it though. I'm telling you, family, because if you don't, it's going to rock your world. Every lie you ever told is going to come out. If you're a vegetarian, you're eating burgers every day, someone's going to find you. Wait. What time is it? Yeah. Listen. I remember what was it? If you like men and you're a man and you're hiding it, everybody's gonna find out. Just be who you are. You know what I mean? Just start do you recommend anything for protection? I had to eat meat today. Didn't had anything else to eat at work. Lynn, don't worry about what you listen. It's the intent behind the consumption. Meat is a frequency. Vegetables a frequency. You can have meat and vegetables match the same frequency. If someone like Nature Not is pooping on the trees and you eat that same fruit and you eat a piece of meat that is from a slaughterhouse where the animal was abused, it's the same frequency. You can transmute frequency as well. That's why people pray over their food. You can transmute anything. If you're eating meat and it brings you guilt, then sometimes it's better to fast than not eat at all. Then sometimes it's better to fast. If you feel like what you're going to eat is going to cause you damage as far as your consciousness is concerned, then just fast. I wouldn't eat at all. Okay. But if you're going to eat meat and that's what you require, then you need to pray over it and transmute the energy again. And not all meat is equated the same. Flesh is flesh. When you consume an animal and the poor thing has been boxed into a pen, and its baby's been torn away, and then we're eating drinking the dairy and stuff. I mean, it's just all that. You can transmute that energy, but you gotta apologize for that wrong. I'm sorry that your baby was taken away. I'm so sorry. I'm so grateful for the nourishment you will give me and my children. I'm so grateful. I'm so sorry. I love you. If you do that, you will be able to transmute some of that. But that's why all the Jewish, all the Zionists eat kosher. Kosher is just code for bleeding out, so the low field frequency isn't in there anymore. Okay, that's all it is code. A lot of people don't realize that. Why they bleed out the meat, kosher or halal, is because they don't want the frequency. The frequency is in the blood. Okay, the fear, the flight, okay, all that sadness is in the blood. Once they bleed out the animal and make the animal fall asleep when they slay them with a sharp knife, the animal doesn't know, they go to sleep. There's no tautness to tightness. That's all why they do that, okay? They these Zionists you think that they're good people. No, they're just clever. They're just, they're manipulative. They know this matrix in and out, okay? Clear it. Okay, so eat what you require, but it's not necessarily to eat. Like I always tell women who are more plump, like myself. Big up to the thickums. I'm just thicker. I was always thicker. I danced too. I was just why it is also I come from the indigenous women. We didn't require food like that. Our ancestors didn't eat. Listen to what I said. Our ancestors didn't eat. Look at Fleur Brun on her video. Go to my past video when I fasted for 21 days. What did you notice about Fleur Brun? You know what you noticed about Fleur Brun? I looked healthy. I didn't look emaciated. Okay? Okay? I looked healthy. I didn't look emaciated. And I was doing okay. Okay? You know why? It's because most brown women, especially those who come from tropics, you know, island women, the Tahitian women, women from the Polynesians, Samoan women, those from Hawaii, the native Hawaiians, the native Thailand women, from native Thailand women, we didn't require food like that. We didn't eat like that. We were mostly fruitarians and we didn't eat a lot. Okay, that's why we chunk up. You know, when colonization happened and people were displaced and brought to different regions, they didn't bring the food of the natives. They didn't bring what your ancestors ate. So many of us eat foods that are highly toxic, like starches and you know, grains that are toxic for us. You know, all those wheats and things like that our ancestors didn't eat or require. So that's why you see it. And, you know, I really have a disdain for those, you know, for those memes about big brown women that are fat, you know, saying things like that. And what they don't realize, that's so silly. Like, you go and see Samoan women, they're all plumped up. It's because diet of the Westerners, they brought in, Westerners don't eat differently. I know my European sect, my Nordic sea stars, they can eat. They can eat the same meal and never gain a pound. They actually require to get more calories outside of their body. The native women, the indigenous women, required zero. They got food from the sun, and they go through the process at night we would get food from the sun, and just like a plant, we would take it in and go through photosynthesis in order to intake and transmute the energy, and it would fuel us. Okay, that's why I know food isn't a necessity to me. I know, I've seen it on survival shows. Watch some of these survival shows. See who lasts. Look at Survivor. Remember, watch Survivor? I don't even know if it's on anymore. Watch the movie Survivor, the show Survivor. Look at the brown woman on there. Look at the big brown woman on there. At the end of the 30 days, she looks healthy because she's meant to last. She's just, her endocrine system's different. We're not meant to eat. I'm not making a joke, but that's just the case. And you see some Irish women have that same, Scottish and Irish women have some of that same disposition because they're mixed with some of the indigenous there. So you'll see Irish women are very lofty, and some of the English women too. They have some of those qualities. They're very plump. And if you don't have them eat, they will look like regular women that eat regular meals. Okay? Yeah, we don't require it. We eat because it's an addiction, because we're living in an addictive world where that's being promoted all the time, and food is part of the culture. So eating is part of the culture. So they perpetuate consistently eating. You've got all these fast food it's all drugs. It's like a big pimp. They're pimping food to you all the time. I remember fasting, and the easiest thing about fasting was not eating. The hardest thing about fasting was the perpetual propaganda by people around me, or just going out. That was the hardest part, just the environment. Not eating wasn't a problem for me. I was chilling. I didn't require food. I don't really require it now. I eat because I eat. I don't necessarily eat because I require it. I'm being honest. So, you know, you got to be careful with that with certain people. Food is being used, is chemicalizing people, and it's being used as a drug. Okay? When you start fasting, and some of you know, when you start fasting, you'll realize your senses shoot up. So my hearing became acute, my sense of smell became acute, my eyesight even got better. That's all from fasting. And that means that when you're eating, you're you're muting your senses. Okay? So, you know, and I'm not talking about all lunars too, because I know, like I said, there are lunars from certain regions I know for a fact, because I know them. Big up to my lunar crew. My lunars from like certain Scandinavian places, but mostly from parts of England, I'm trying to think of the phenotypes. And the Irish and the Scottish. Those women are loftier, similar to the indigenous women. And when they fast, they look normal. Okay? They tend to get up a little chunkier too, a little thicker. Okay? Some beings have to eat. Yeah, there's some beings who have to eat. And you'll know it. You'll know it. You'll know it by the what happens to them when they eat less. They get emaciated. Okay? Some beings have to eat. I know copper and melanated women. That's why I say you have to be careful, because not all of us who look alike are alike. I know copper melanated women that are from North America who require a lot of food. They require to outsource for food outside of their biological makeup is not something that will create take energy from sun energy and create food fuel for them. Okay, so that's some women. So I don't get. I want to make sure I put that out there. When I said it first, I said tropical women, women who are from the tropics, have that quality. Samoans, and Native Hawaiians, Polynesians, women, natives from the Caribbeans, like the Arawak, and the Taino. Look at the Puerto Rican women, you know what I mean? Look at the Cubano women, look at the Dominicano women, the Haitian women, look at the women from the Caribbean, like that. Those tropical women, look at the Mexicanos. The Mexicanos are the same. They don't require it. Places where there's a lot of sun, the women the people, I don't want to say women, the people require little food because they get fuel from the sunlight, and they actually are able to turn it into food and fuel through like photosynthesis, almost like a plant. Okay, so yeah, I fasted for 21 days. I hit the garage the first 3 days because I didn't know I was addicted to coffee. Remember that? I hit the garage backing up, and I didn't even put the garage because my mind was foggy. I was detoxing off of coffee. I didn't know coffee causes addiction. I had no clue at the time. I didn't know I was addicted to coffee. I just thought I drank it because I didn't drink coffee until after I had children. So I had no clue. And then I fasted and didn't realize coffee was a drug. I didn't realize coffee was a drug until I hit the garage. I had a headache. I didn't want phone calls. My head was beaming from not drinking coffee. Listen, if anyone tells you, listen, stop eating oranges or apples. You won't get a headache. That's how you know it's a drug. You can't stop eating fruit and vegetables and you get a headache like that. That's because it is a drug and it tastes so good. It is a drug. Oh, I tell you. And I have, sometimes I love the smell. I grew up on percolated coffee, like the smell of it in my house. I love the aroma of it. So a lot of your Latino family, the Cubana family, the Dominicano family, the French families, we grow up with grandmothers, abuelas that make coffee in the house with their percolators. Many of you did. Some of you remember that back in the days. The percolators, you smell the beautiful aroma in the house of the coffee in the morning. I didn't drink it as a child, but I grew up with that in the house. It smells so amazing, right? Oh, it was like euphoric. Anytime I get up in the morning, I smell my grandmother making the coffee in the percolator, and I hear the percolator, and it sounded, where can I get a percolator? I'm not saying I'm going to drink coffee. This is post-pregnancy. I have to give birth to a healthy baby. I want a percolator. Can I buy a percolator? I don't even know. I don't even know if it's healthy to have a percolator. I like the smell of it. I have a lot of my father's heritage in Indonesia and don't look like having been eating much, just snacks and tons of water. I have dropped so much weight. Yes, it's good and your skin glows. Yeah, your abuela? Abuela's rock. My abuela, my grandmère, she's amazing. Yeah. She said, don't take men seriously. That's her advice to me. She's so amazing. She's so funny. Big ups to my granny. Anyway, I sidebarred off of that. Oh, thank you, Cody. Thank you, Cody. Peace, light, and love. Thank you for all your wisdom. I appreciate that, Cody. Thank you. Yes, I'm pregnant, fairy magic. Yes, I am. I won't say when my due date is. Everybody's asking. I won't say how many months I am. That's, you know, I keep everything. I'm just being transparent by telling you because everybody was asking all the time. So I'm just confirming. Yes, I am. Thank you. I appreciate it. You know. What was I saying? We were talking about so purging. So thank you. Yeah. So thank you, loves, thank you. Yeah, do coffee. I told you that coffee that I drank now. It's not coffee. It's I love it. It's saved my life. It's Baby on a Rain. I took a picture on Instagram. What is it called? Roma. I love Roma. Oh. Then the other one is I bought another one when I was in the city with Kirk. I forgot the other one. It tastes just the same. Oh, I love it. It tastes just like espresso. I love espresso. So you'll love it. It's got that chicory taste. What I like is the chicory taste. Oh, you want to? Oh, Leandra, you crochet? That's so sweet. Well, let's make sure. You know, I'm a woman of a certain age. Let's make sure this baby comes healthy, and you know, everything's good in the hood. Yeah, I love Roma. Roma's my favorite. I do that with the pea, with it's called pod. Oh gosh, you know my memory is fading with the timeline. It's called pod. What is it called? Pod creamer. I travel with that. It's really, really good. I do that and I love it. And I love it with date sugar. The date sugar was bothering me, so I had to switch to maple sugar, which is really, really costly, but it tastes really good. Because I normally don't really sweeten my coffee up at Starbucks too much. I do like a little bit of classic, a little couple pumps of classic in there, but I don't really I tried dandelion. My girlfriend was really fond of dandelion. I'm not really a fan of it. I sent you a message that was deleted twice. Shaniqua, will you send me a message? It's not me deleting it. Oh, the grade B. Remember in the Mandela effect, the grade B molasses disappeared. remember I made a whole video on it. I was upset. I was like, how did grade B maple syrup disappear? Because as far as I was concerned, I kept going to all these places that I normally went to get my grade B, and there wasn't. And then they said there wasn't anymore. So now it's called dark A amber or something. But whatever it's called now, the maple syrup changed. Shaniqua, Shaniqua, it's better to email me because it's the only way you'll get through. Wait, hold on a second, family. I gotta check. Okay, sorry about that. I'm gonna have to go. I have to go to an appointment. So prepare for, okay, so let's recap. You know, I go sidebar. Prepare for the event. It's coming in March. I'm calling it out. It's not really predictions, what I've known to be. It's what's been happening. Purge, fast, cry, get it out, get it all out, get every bit of sadness out, just clear it because it'll make the transition so much easier. Ground yourself, you know, be around people who love you, who are amazing with you, who really rock it out with you. And it doesn't have to be a lot of people, and it could just be one person. And just understand and understand that at the end of the day, you came in this cycle on your own, and you're leaving this on your own. And the only one that matters at the end of the day is yourself. Not to harm anyone, not to put anyone, not to belittle anyone, not to mistreat anyone, not to do things that harm people just for your benefit, but to know that you are in this on your own. You are going to have to do the work for yourself. Look at me as an example. Sometimes I fail. Sometimes I remember I fail sometimes when I dropped when I dealt with the draconian, and I wasn't willing to deal with her because I saw her look like holy hell, and I wanted to take her out because she come and stalked me. So when I dealt with the draconian, you know, I dropped it like it's hot. I failed that test. I failed miserably. The draconian came to my hotel room. I was like, what the heck is this? Why are you stalking me? You treacherous creature. I dropped her. I regret my reaction because my reaction was me being protective with my offspring around. You know, one thing you'll learn with me, if you come anywhere around my cubs, anywhere where I'm with them or around them, I'm very protective of me and mine. And one thing I will say is that sometimes my reaction will be over the top when it comes to the aspects of children and all children. It's not just my children, it's all children. If I see your children even being talked to, or even in a breeze of harm coming their way, I'm gonna block it and I'm gonna protect them. That's just what I do. So, you know, but like I said, you got a chance to witness or at least hear my perspective of what happened to me, where I kind of did something out of alignment with what I normally should do. So I failed that test. And what I'm going to do better is realize my triggers. Oh, thank you, Nonstop Lucky Dog. Hybrid. Do I tell my family I'm a hybrid? No, I wouldn't tell your family you're a hybrid. Why? Is because they won't understand that. What I would do is share in the collective with those who are like-minded and like your same species, and join a group like meetup.com has some amazing groups in local areas that deal with people like ourselves who are mixed with other species of ETs. And that's the best way to deal with that. You know, whether you're mixed with, you know, whatever group you associated with, you'll find others like yourself. I found it to be a really good resource, meetup.com. I found some amazing people when I was living on my farm. So I would think that's already. So yeah, a lot of people aren't ready to hear that kind of intel, and to say it to them would put them in shock, and they might think you're a cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and they might try to lock you up like some of our other family that's been locked up. We have people that are part of our group that have been locked up and institutionalized because they shared these things with people who were not ready to accept that we are here, we have always coexisted here, and that galactic groups are actually running the governmental elements. Prince New. Hey, Prince New, thank you. 2019 is a 400 completion. What is it? Completion? I've been told. Well, if that's the case, we're right on time, because you could feel it. We're at the precipice of change, and it's here, and we only can assist ourselves by releasing that which doesn't serve us our highest and greatest good. And it sounds so corny, but that's all it is. So, you know, take it for what it is. And all the things that are hidden or secrets, I would just tell everybody, if you like to do weird things, and that's where I guess you were asking about the hybrid thing, releasing that. I would say release it to those who would be in alignment with it. But I'm saying, as far as your shadows, release that to yourself. Acknowledge yourself. Be in alignment with yourself. You know, there isn't anything wrong with you. The only thing that's wrong is when we don't acknowledge aspects of ourselves, and we block our own growth based on our binding ourselves or blinding ourselves to the truth. Okay? The government shutdown is a bunch of BS. It's something else. It's another aspect. I personally think the shutdown is being done purposefully to create a type of wave of consciousness amongst the people, because I think the most people that are most upset, well, are the governmental officials that are not getting paid, but it's the regular people who are getting scared, like the ordinary people. Stay out of fear. I think it's also another fear tactic to put people in like worry mode. Like, what if the government this? What if this? What if the grants? What if my grant does come through? What if I'm not going to get this? You know, I think it's a lot of fear tactic, fear mongering to put people in a certain mindset. I don't think it is what it is. Like I said, the wall is not what it is. That's an energetic wall. He's talking about something else. And there's a lot of frenzy because March is coming. And the event is coming. Whether you acknowledge it or not, you don't need Allison Coda to just say it. I'm confirming it happened to me. It's coming. And it is beautiful and it's amazing. But you can do things that will make it even more amazing so that you're grounded and that you can feel a level of illumination during it. That's all. So family, I gotta go. Thank you for joining me on this rant. For all those joining my timeline, big up to y'all. Prince New, the blood moon also hypnotized me and drained me. Did it, Prince New? See, it because did you go through the portal? You did the jump with us, Prince New. I think that's the portal jumping too. But remember, the moon does do its own thing. Remember, it's meant to pull. The moon is being utilized to manipulate our bodies too. So remember, that moon would exasperate everything and anything that normally would hamper us with a regular moon. But the blood moon just makes it bigger. Okay? So I love you. I'm gone. Happy timeline jumping for those who jump timelines. It's amazing. Again, I'll be on Patreon discussed today what was going on with the changes, and I'll be doing that every couple of days to tell you what's going on. It's literally blowing my mind. This time jump was different. I like the last one, but this one's different. Different elements. Yeah. Beautiful though. Beautiful though. I have to say, I'm appreciative. Anyway, so I love you, family. We'll be jumping for the next 10 days. I think this was the 3rd day. We'll be jumping more. So, you know, unfortunately my live didn't save. I don't know how to save my live on Instagram. You could have checked it out, but for all those who were meant to be there, you were there with me. So I love you. I've got to go. Have a masterful day. Purge all that doesn't serve your highest and greatest good. Adore those who rock with you. Forgive I'm even going to say this, and you know I rarely say this. Forgive those who don't know why they harm you. Because I think there's a lot of chaotic people out here that are just walking blindly and just shooting off bullets, like ricocheting bullets because they're hurt and they don't know what they're doing. So forgiveness is one of those things I wouldn't tell you before to do because I felt like it was giving people exoneration. But I see it maybe as a way to free ourselves from the burden of it. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of changing myself in that way. Maybe I'll forgive a couple people who I feel did some detriment to my life, because at the end of the day, there isn't any victims, there's only victors, and it's only from the perspective you see it. So I love you. I shall see you, and I'll come and talk to you soon. Peace. I'll probably be on Instagram tonight.